Good morning, baby gamers.
This is Breaking the Lore,
The show where two girlfriends dig deep.
to find the weirdest and most obscure bits of trivia.
I'm Nissa's girlfriend, Sara.
And I'm Sarah's girlfriend, Nissa.
So buckle up because tonight's episode is...
Gotta catch 'em all! It's Pokemon!
Pokémon!
You know, is that like a games thing? Because this is the Pokemon. Is that just an anime thing?
Gotta catch 'em all was like a slogan that was used for the first, 5 years of Pokemon's existence. Just, for the entire franchise.
Uh-huh.
Games, cards, anime, everything.
Okay.
But then they stopped using it
Oh.
when the third generation came out because it was no longer possible to catch 'em all.
And now it's really not possible to catch 'em all with Sword and Shield.
Yeah, you see, they actually brought the slogan back when they launched XY because now it was possible to catch them all within a single generation without needing to transfer.
And then they needed to take it away again because you
Yeah,
can't
now they don't use it anymore. Now they don't use it anymore.
Well, there's some right out of the gate lore. The complicated relationship Gotta Catch 'Em All has with existence. But no, yeah, I mean, so it works. It's a valid episode.
Yeah, go for it.
It's because this is just I didn't specify, but this is just the Pokemon games because
Yeah, this is just the games.
Yeah.
Pokemon's too big, too vast.
it is. And honestly, do you have much on the spin-off games? Because I didn't even look into the spin-off games. I was just looking at the main lines.
I didn't know we were allowed to look at the spin-off games.
See, but that's exactly the point that I was about to make. Like, Pokemon is huge. I think we could honestly probably have, 3 more episodes of Pokemon. We could have an anime
We
episode,
sure could.
a Pokemon Adventures. Because I mean, I assume the only manga we would do is Pokespa, just because the other ones aren't, popular, or I don't think they're as long-running or anything. Pokespa's, the Pokemon manga.
Yeah, we could maybe throw in some stuff from, Electric Tale of Pikachu or
Yeah.
Diamond and Pearl Adventure, but I don't know.
I mean, I'd be most motivated to read Pokespa and do Pokespa, but yeah, anime Pokespa, and then yeah, I think we could even have another episode for Mystery Dungeon Rangers. I think we would bundle those all into one episode unless we found a huge wellspring on one of them. But
Yeah, no, I think it could be
we
all
could
bundled.
either
'Cause
do a bunch
lot
of mini
the-
episodes on each spin-off, or we could do one big episode on all the spin-offs. But either way,
Yeah.
bringing it back around, Pokemon is huge, so it only makes sense to
Yeah.
tackle certain aspects of it per episode and not get too overreaching, especially because the way I see it, Pokemon canon is very different in each medium.
Yeah, Pokemon canon is a mess even within the same medium.
Exactly. So it just I was thinking about how to format this episode, and it just felt dishonest almost to try to talk about them as if they're all one universe. It just doesn't. It wouldn't make sense, and it wouldn't make a cohesive lore exploration, I don't think.
It sure wouldn't, no.
So that's the answer. We're gonna have multiple Pokemon episodes. We're not gonna do them all back to back to back though.
No, they'll be spaced out.
Pepper them throughout this and next year, I assume. I mean, if people go really wild for this, we'll probably do it relatively soon. But we have other episodes planned as the next few. But yeah, so I'm excited for this episode. The mainline Pokemon games have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about.
Very interesting, yeah.
But before we do that, we usually do questions. So, what is your favorite mainline Pokemon game?
Gah!
Is that your favorite mainline Pokemon game?
Pokemon Gah! Yeah. Gosh, my favorite mainline Pokemon game is... Oh, gosh. I kind of want to say Sun and Moon.
Really? I didn't
I
think you
liked
liked
them
Sun
a
and Moon
lot.
that much. Why is Sun and
I
Moon
like
your
them a
favorite?
lot. Because I like the Alola region. I think it has a lot of really good Pokemon. I think almost every single Pokemon is just a banger and a half. And I like a lot of the characters in it too.
Okay, that's a fair answer. I mean, for me, it's Platinum. You know it's Platinum. That's not a
I
surprise to
know.
you. I really like Pokemon Platinum. Um, I mean, I just like the Sinnoh region in general. I like Sinnoh's characters. I like Sinnoh's mythology and lore. I like Sinnoh's Pokedex. I even think like the region concept of, because like like each region has like something that it's studying, which I didn't really pick up on as a kid. I was just like, oh, wow, you got a weird focus. That's cool, I guess. But but yeah, like each region has something they're studying, and like I think the fact that like they're studying evolution, and because of that, the Pokedex has a bunch of like new evolutions to old Pokemon. It was a
I mean,
cool
yeah,
idea.
that's.
I liked it.
I mean, that's some lore we can break right now.
That's true. I didn't actually research anything about that. Now that I think about it, did
I, I mean, I didn't research it, but I have that on like in my mind as is
okay. So
because it's something that I've noticed and I think is actually really interesting.
well, then in that case, we can talk about that. I had like one or two other questions, but I think we should talk about this while we're on it. So
Okay, so Professor Oak is just like a Pokemon professor. He's not really specializing in anything per se, but
specializes in traumatizing children in Pokespa. That's a pre
he
that
should.
episode.
But so Professor Elm is studying evolution, and that's why Johto introduced a lot of like babies and evolutions because he discovered a bunch of new methods for evolution.
Yeah,
Um,
and Johto and Sinnoh are like it's interesting that it's Johto and Sinnoh because the two are so like it's not like Kanto and Johto where they're like physically next to each other, but like story wise and like all of that, like they're weirdly linked. Because like the Shinjo ruins or Sinjo ruins or whatever it was, and things like that. Um, like it's interesting that Sinnoh and Johto have like some sort of like history with each other. So it's interesting that they're both
mhm.
the evolution regions.
Professor Birch studies like Pokemon habitats, which doesn't really connect as much to the Pokedex, but
I was
like the
gonna
Hoenn
say
region
it
is
seems
like
like
a
a
super has a it's a super diverse region. It's for such a small island. It has so many different like varieties of environments. It's got like a volcano. It's got like a rainforest. It's got all those ocean and like
yeah.
caves and stuff.
No, yeah. There's definitely a lot of like it's interesting because that's like one of the more subtle ones to work into. Like obviously like oh I'm researching Mega Evolution. Like there's no subtle way to
Yeah.
incorporate that. You're just gonna do Mega Evolutions. But that's an interesting sort of more subtle one that he's researching.
Professor Juniper specializes in the origins of Pokemon,
What does that tie
and
in? I don't remember how they
I don't really
incorporated that.
that doesn't really tie into anything. That's really more of a Sinnoh thing, actually.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like Sinnoh does a lot more like ancient history Pokemon stuff, and like, because we'll get to this later. Because I was researching all of like the legendary myths and stuff like that. Unova has one of the like least tied to anything myths of all the regions. Like, it's a very like small scale myth comparative to
Yeah.
for Reshiram and Zekrom at least. The Reshiram and Zekrom myth is actually very small scale. So it is interesting that like she's the one researching origins of like you'd think that that would mean that like Unova would have like a lot more fossil Pokemon or things like that.
Yeah, but it doesn't though.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
weird thing.
it just has Archon and Tortuga. Interesting.
Um, Sycamore studies Mega Evolution, obviously. 'Cause
Take
that's
away his Pokemon license. We'll come back to that, but I think he should be disbarred or no, that's for lawyers. That's for lawyers. He should be stripped of his like Dr. Wu. He's Mr. Wu. That's some Jurassic Park trivia from the last episode. But like that should happen to Professor Sycamore. He should just be Mr. Sycamore. In fact,
he really should.
That's what I'm gonna call him when I meet him. I'm just gonna call him Mr. Sycamore.
Professor Kukui studies Pokemon moves, which like really ties into Z moves.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And of course, his wife, Professor Burnett, studies the relationship between Pokemon and other dimensions, which makes sense
ties
because she
into
was
the
introduced in
Ultra,
Pokemon
yeah.
Dream Radar.
Like, with all the Ultra stuff, it makes sense. And I do want to come back to the Ultra stuff too. I assume you have stuff about that, but
A little bit, and I mean, also, of course, Dream Radar, the game she was introduced in. So.
I know nothing about Dream Radar. But well, I know there's Professor
Yeah,
Fennel.
wait.
Professor Fennel does she did the dreams of she
The Dream World. Yeah.
it was that was well because it was with Marshana, right? Like it was the pink dream tape.
Yeah.
The not the scary
Yeah.
scary creepy one, Drowsy. It was the cute one. That's how she was, because it was just Pokemon dreaming, but she was able to influence their dreams with the Marshana, wasn't it? Or something like that.
Something like that. I actually want to touch on the Dream World a little bit later on.
Okay, we'll circle back to it then. But yeah, Dr. Fennel researches dreams.
Yes, and then Professor Magnolia obviously specializes in Dynamax.
There's no obviously about it. I've only done like half hour of that game. Actually, I've done way more than that because the wild area takes so long to just walk the fuck across it, even though it's fairly empty and not amazing. But so yeah, that leaves you were gonna talk about Professor Rowan and evolution, or were you just going to go through all the professors and what they study?
No, I was going through what the professors and what they study.
Oh. Well, I don't see how that ties to what I was talking about at all.
Yes, it does. That's exactly what you were talking about. You said Professor Rowan studies evolution, which is like why there's so many new evolutions in Sinnoh. And I was like, yeah, all the professors are like that.
I'm not sure
that was the lore I was breaking.
Good derail for me talking about Sinnoh, but well, that didn't end where I thought it was going to. I thought that was going to tie harder back into Professor Rowan. But yeah, I really like the Sinnoh games. I like how the Sinnoh games work. I like the characters, and I like the Pokemon. What is your favorite type?
My favorite type? Flying and ground.
You gotta pick one.
Flying.
Why flying?
A lot of my favorite Pokemon are flying types.
Fair enough. It works.
Farfetch'd, Hawlucha, Delibird, Skarmory, Chatot.
So you'd be a flying type gym leader if you like had to.
Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah.
See, I feel like when I like drew you as a gym leader, I picked you for normal type. I don't remember why. Probably because whenever we debate normal type, you like stand up for normal type, and I'm the one who.
Well, yeah, because you're wrong about normal type.
Oh my god! Listen, I'm just saying, normal type is like the lazy type. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I hate referencing Harry Potter, but normal type is the Hufflepuff of Pokemon types. It's the we don't have a good type for you, so I'm just gonna throw you in there.
That's why we need it.
That's not why we need it. It's why you should do better at finding types for the you don't have a good type, so we'll just throw you in there type. Like, think about how that must feel. Like, you're a skitty, and you're seeing all these fire types, and ghost types, and steel types, and psychic types, and you get thrown in normal type. You're average. You're boring. You're the Mishima of Pokemon.
Normal types are
You're the
Mishima
of Pokemon. How does that feel, do you think, to be that Pokemon?
Normal types are anything but boring.
Normal literally means just like average, like nothing unique or special.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Listen, I'm sorry to our fans, but not to you, because I don't back down in this normal fight. I'm just sorry you guys had to listen to it. But my favorite's ghost type. I don't think I really need to say that. I feel like everyone already knows that. So I'd be a ghost type gym leader for sure.
Okay. Well, I just want to kind of talk about one thing that kind of really surprised me when I realized it. But, okay. You know how everybody thinks that if a Charmander, Charmeleon, or Charizard's tail goes out, it dies?
I think that for at least Charmander. I mean, if you're going to tell me it's not true for Charmeleon and Charizard, like, I assume that it would still be true. but I think it's only explicitly true for Charmander, right?
Well, I mean, I think it's technically true for all of them, but it's also technically not true.
Why? What do you mean?
Well,
what are you getting at?
what I'm getting at is all of us, every person misinterpreted that. Because a Charmander doesn't die when its tail goes out. A Charmander's tail goes out when it dies. You can't just submerge a Charmander in water and it suddenly dies because its tail went out.
Well,
its tail only goes out when it does die.
Okay, you can say this all you want, but where's your... what's the evidence that we misinterpreted? Like, what's the quote, or...
Its Pokédex entry from Red and Blue states that when it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail.
Okay.
A Charmander's tail does not go out when it gets wet.
Or the rain just isn't enough to put it out.
It's a Pokédex entries from Gold and Silver state that the flame on its tail indicates its life force. If it's weak, the flame also burns weak, and if it's healthy, the flame burns brightly.
Okay, that's some decent evidence for your case. But but it could be a two-way relationship. Like, they could both be true. Like, it could go both ways. Where's the quote for that we all like got this information from? Like, where does...
I don't even think it's a quote. It was like the anime episode where Ash gets the Charmander, where they're like holding the leaf over its tail in the rain so that it doesn't go out. I think that's where we all got it from.
So is it just in the anime? Is where Charmander's tail going out means it's dead? Is that the only...
As far as I know, yeah.
Oh. Well, then this isn't really a debate worth having at all, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that basically just means it's something that everyone assumes because it's a very popular fact from the anime. But in the game's canon... I mean, in the game's canon, you're probably right because of the, like, it burns weakly. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That people don't talk about. I'm sorry for accusing you of just making it up, but to be fair, it sounded like you were just making it up. That's interesting. I have a similar, just like little dumb fact. It's not a misconception.
Yes.
But it's just well, okay. I mean, I guess this could be a misconception because I didn't know it. So the Pokemon League, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's like been established for like a really long time?
I imagine it's been around for a while, yeah.
Like, I feel like that's just the general, like, thought, is that the Pokemon League's been around for, like, a really long time.
Well, yeah.
The Pokemon League was actually only established 150 years before the games.
That's still a pretty long time.
That's not a long time in the grand scheme of things.
Well, no, but, like...
But I mean, consider... Pokemon's and human, like the war happened 3,000 years ago, and the Eternatus meteor, I believe, 30,000 years ago, something like. Were there people when that happened? I don't actually know.
There have been people for much longer than 30,000 years. Yes, in our world at least.
Okay, we're not in our world. First of all, well, actually, we'll come back to that later. Maybe we are, But yeah, no, like, I think in the grand scheme of human, like, I don't know, like, I think in the grand scheme of things, like, when you really think about it, like, I wouldn't say something in, like, something that happened in, what would it be, like, 1880 something? Like, I wouldn't say that's, like, an unbelievably long time ago, you know?
It's not. But, like, if you told me that, like, the NFL was established in 1880, it'd be like, okay, yeah, that's a pretty long time ago.
I mean, yeah, but, like, the NFL doesn't...
The Pokemon League is a sporting
the same institution that the Pokemon League...
Yes, it is! The Pokemon League is exactly the same as the NFL. It is a sporting competition.
But it doesn't feel that way except in Sword and Shield, at least to me. To me, it feels like more of a, like... I mean, I guess that's the fault of the games for... I was about to say, it feels like a governmental institution... But I think that's the fault of the games for just never expanding on what the Pokemon world's government is like. Like, I don't know if you stumbled upon any government information. I stumbled there were, like, Kings of Alola. That was the closest I got to any sort of organized government is that Alola has kings, but or at least had
Well,
kings. Like I don't think Alola even currently has kings.
The only thing I know about for certain for government is that Drayden is the mayor of Opelucid City, which means there is some sort of government because cities have mayors.
Wait, who's the mayor?
Drayden.
Drayden. So he's a gym, but see, he's a gym leader and the mayor.
Yeah, but he's also the only gym leader that's a mayor, which means that being the mayor is not a job of the gym leader.
Is he the only gym leader mayor in the entire?
As far as I know.
In the entire series? I swear there's more. Or at least,
A gym leader who is also a mayor?
at the very least, there's more gym leaders that seem like they own the town they live in. Which I guess comes along with being the best. Like, I guess, because, okay, so, like, the way that Sabrina became the gym leader is she had to prove that she was the best person in. Because she beats the fighting dojo master, and then she gets to own a gym. Like, Erica seems like she owns whatever town Erica lives in. Celadon, isn't it?
Celadon, yes.
Like, I don't know. I guess I feel like the mainline games seem to give the impression that the professors and the Pokemon League are like the two major governmental bodies in the Pokemon world.
I don't feel like I ever got that impression.
Like, I mean, I guess someone has to be signing Looker's checks, so there must be some higher governing body that employs... Because Looker is like an FBI agent, right?
Interpol.
It's like FBI, but he gets to be in whatever region the game devs want him to. So yes, he is basically an FBI agent. So... That's weird. I don't know. You know what? Pokemon games. I want you to expand on information about the government. Because I'm very curious. Because I don't know how the Pokemon world runs itself. Because, I mean, you don't even get the sense of, like... Like, I guess there's evil teams. But there's not, like... Like, I guess there are some police. Like, there's Officer Jenny. I don't know. When I play the Pokemon games, it almost seems like there's not even a government. Because there doesn't, like... I don't get a sense of, like...
I mean, when you go about your daily life, how often do you interact with the government?
Every day.
Okay.
No, I don't. I just said that.
Yeah.
Here's my point. Like, I don't know. It seems like Pokemon is just like, if you have your magical animals, that's all you need. You don't have to worry about, like, because like Mafia and things like that, like Team Rocket, Team Galactic, like the evil team is always handled by just like the champion and some kids with magic animals. Like, you don't get the sense that there's like I'd buy that maybe there's some kind of like international like something that like Looker would belong, like some kind of international coalition or something. But like I just don't get the sense that there's like strong central government in the Pokemon universe.
Counterpoint, who's paying for Pokemon centers?
The strong central government.
Exactly.
It's not the point, but it's true.
The Pokemon world has socialized healthcare.
It does have socialized healthcare, but only for the good towns. Because the team Skull City, they don't socialize that healthcare.
Well, because they have a Pokemon Center in that town. It's just trash because Team Skull ran everybody out of that city.
But the government should still keep the lights on.
The lights are on.
No, they're not. They have to charge you because
you can heal your Pokemon
it's
in
running
there.
without money. I always got the
Hold
sense
on.
they weren't just.
I'm going
I thought that
the
they were.
article. Hold on.
I might be wrong, but I remember that it wasn't like them charging you just to be dicks. I remember it was like them charging you because they needed the money to keep the place running. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I remember.
They charge you 10 cents to heal the Pokemon, which to me strikes me as just Team Skull is just extorting you because they took over the Pokemon Center and now they control it and they can charge you.
They're extorting you for 10 cents? Is that what you're
10 cents?
Is that the basis of your argument? Is that they're extorting you for 10 fucking cents? How does that make more sense than they're charging you the bare minimum to cover their expenses?
Why would Team Skull charge the bare minimum? They're a gang.
Why would they extort you for... Then why, if they're extorting you, why are they extorting you for 10 cents? Can you explain that one to me?
Okay, because I think it's just a gameplay thing because they don't want to make you like have to pay a lot of money if you're in Po Town and you need to heal your Pokemon. They still want it to be affordable. So they just made it a comically small amount, 10 cents, because like...
Well, like, is Team Skull...
It makes sense that if Team Skull took over the Pokemon Center, they'd be charging you.
How evil even is Team Skull? I don't really remember. But, like, I didn't...
They're not very evil. They're just like...
Like, are they really evil enough?
They're common
like,
thugs.
Are they really evil enough to extort money out of a child with a dying magical animal?
Yes.
Are you sure that's in their wheelhouse?
They're...
They don't strike me as the type to do something like that.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah. I won't stand for Team Skull extorting you slander. I think they're just...
It doesn't make sense. If they were just trying to keep the lights on, why would they be charging you 10 cents?
Maybe that's what it costs to keep the lights on. You don't know how much the power grid in Pokemon costs.
Okay.
Okay, if they have socialized healthcare, maybe their power grid is not too expensive. Like...
Okay.
I mean, I feel like if they have socialized healthcare, maybe they'd have socialized, like, power and stuff, too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like power should also probably be socialized, like houses, food, power.
Right.
We're getting to the point where internet should probably be socialized, too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things should probably be socialized, if we're being honest. If we're being...
It's true.
Like, really honest.
That's true.
But yeah, this all got very out of hand. The Pokemon League was only started 150 years ago. So cool.
I wanna talk about how some ghost type Pokemon are just like straight up dead people.
Yeah. I mean, there's also some that are like implied to be dead. I mean, Gengar? Is Gengar ever actually implied to be a dead Clefairy or Clefable, or is that just a fan theory? I don't know if that's...
It's a fan theory that Gengar is Clefable's shadow, which makes a lot of sense because they have a very similar silhouette, and, like, I think there's some other evidence, like, they have the exact same height, or maybe Gengar is slightly bigger.
I mean, I know I have, like, this really cool fan art poster that's, like... It's almost like it's split in half, and like half of it's Gengar, half is Clefairy. It's a really nice artwork. But, but yeah, no, that was, I guess. Well, the ghosts in Lavender Tower. I feel like we could also mention those in this section.
I mean, yeah, those aren't even Pokemon. Those are just dead people.
Well, they're not dead people.
They're dead Pokemon.
They're dead Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because Lavender Tower, they don't bury any humans in there, do they?
No, that's a Pokemon graveyard.
Do we ever see any human graveyards in the series?
Is the Howley Cemetery for people or Pokemon?
Where's the Howling Cemetery?
That's in Alola on Mele Mele Island.
I kind of remember.
Howley Cemetery. Oh, it's for people and Pokemon.
People, okay. I mean, it makes sense. Well, I guess pet cemeteries and human cemeteries aren't generally the same. I guess my brain was like, oh yes, in ancient Egypt, where we currently live in the modern day, people and their pets are often buried together. I don't know why I thought that was still a more common practice than it is, but
Yeah.
I feel like that should
Oh,
be some kind of, it would save space, I suppose.
yeah, sure.
Okay, are you saying
I agree with you.
if you died around, well, okay, I guess the coordination, but like, well, you could have like a family plot, you know? Like, are you telling me if you're
Yeah,
rich enough to have a
sure.
family plot, you wouldn't want your pets like also on the family plot?
No, I would.
Yeah, right? Like, see?
Yes.
But that got morbid, so tell me about Pokemon that are dead humans.
First, I want to talk about Phantom, which is the soul of a child who died lost in the woods.
Yeah, I remember I saw this really sad fan art comic of it. And it was like a kid that was like wandering and like died in a cabin, and then a phantom came out and it like cuddled a tree.
Yeah.
It was a very sad comic. But yeah, phantoms are all. I mean, but that raises a weird question. Why can phantoms breed?
I mean, that's a question that needs to be asked about a lot of Pokemon.
I was gonna say we should come back to that question. I think after we talk about all these Pokemon, because I will bring it up again.
Yeah,
But I'm very
because
curious.
a couple just popped into my head that really shouldn't be able to breed. Yamask is also the spirit of a person who carries around a mask of their face, and they look at it and cry.
Is it like a mask? So is it like a mask of their face, or is it like a traditional death mask type thing? Because I know Cofagrigus, like Yamask is like desert ruins, right?
Yeah.
So,
It all it says in the Pokédex entries is that it carries a mask that used to be its face when it was human.
oh, so it is just a straight up like a face, like a mask of their face, rather than like a
Yeah.
burial mask. That's interesting. I think I always assumed it was a burial mask.
No, it's a mask of them of their face. Yeah. Frostlass, a little 2-for-1 here. Hell, a 3-for-1, because Frostlass kind of has some really, really messed up Pokédex
Well,
entries.
Frostlass
but,
kills people, right? Like I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Frostlass, freezes people. It freezes hikers who have come to climb in snowy mountains and carries them back to its home. It only goes after men it thinks are handsome.
So I mean that ties back to Frostlass's Yuki-onna roots, like because Frostlass is
Yeah,
on the Japanese mythological monster, the Yuki-onna, and like that's a very like that's a thing that like comes up in a lot of the mythology of that monster is like, well, she's like an ice woman, obviously, like an ice woman ghost. And there's a couple different versions. Like there's one where she like asks you to hold her baby, and the baby is like an ice chunk that freezes you to death, and things like that. But one of them is luring men, and then freezing them to death.
Yeah, after a woman met her end on a snowy mountain, her regrets lingered on. From them, this Pokemon was born. Its favorite food is frozen souls.
Oh, so she's just straight up a Yuki-onna. Like she's not even like
Yeah.
inspired by one. She just is one.
It brings frozen prey back to its lair and neatly lines them up.
That's kind of cool in a fucked up way. Like I almost said Yuki-onna. Like a bunch of Frostlass. Like a Frostlass just has like a statue. It's like Medusa almost.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm gonna say: are Frostlass common or are they rare? Because that seems like a kind of dangerous Pokemon to be around, like just en masse, you know?
I mean, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, like, how can a Frostlass be born from a human soul and also evolve from a Snorunt?
Well, that's the other question. Do Frostlasses occur wild at all? Ever?
In Galar, yes.
Okay, but like, you say in Galar as if that isn't like the most recent region. Like Frostlass has existed for like what, like 4 regions now?
15 years, yeah.
Yeah, Frostlass has existed for 15 years, not being able to be caught in the wild.
Yeah, no, you can only find it in the wild, naturally, in Sword and Shield.
Interesting. Like, so then, I mean, branching off of this, I didn't look this up, so I'm going off memory. Lampent's like kind of half of that, because I don't
Yeah, Lampent's kind of like
Chandelure,
Frostlass and...
But, I know Lampent, like, it hangs out around hospitals, and it, like, absorbs the souls of dead people, and, like, sort of keeps them, and it's like almost like a soul jar or something. That's
a little soul jar. Yeah, it sucks out souls when people die,
Yeah.
and it like keeps them.
So it's almost like it's almost like a lot of dead people. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like one dead person turned into a Lampent. It's like a Lampent is a collection of a lot of dead people. Is Chandelure the same way? I don't think it is, but is it?
Chandelure. That's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of Pokemon, like, have lore that only applies to one stage of their evolution, which doesn't make any sense.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like that lore would, like, I feel like if that's the lore for Lampent, then, like, Litwick would be, like, one human soul. And then Chandelure would just be, like, so many, like, a Lampent took on so many goddamn human souls that it became a chandelier of souls.
So I think Lampent, like, stores human souls, and Chandelure consumes them.
But then, how does that... That's interesting.
It, like, burns them up.
But I mean, Lampent would also burn them up in theory, because it's also, like, on fire.
Litwick, though, just absorbs life energy. It doesn't absorb, like, the soul itself.
Interesting. So it kind of...
So it, like, leeches off your life force.
Not quite what I was thinking, but it's similar. Like, it's not... Like, it's smaller, not because it's just one soul, but because it's feeding off souls rather than absorbing them.
Yeah. It eats your energy, and then when it evolves, it just takes your soul away. And then when it evolves again, it just burns your soul up in its little, like, sack of fire soul.
It's very strange. Lampent's a weird evolutionary line. But did you have more that are dead people, or is it just the Phantom Frostlass half Yamask?
Spiritomb is made up of 108 souls.
That's the kind of the pre-Lampent right there. It's another soul trap Pokemon.
Sinistea is a lonely spirit possessing a cup of tea.
Well, I feel like there's like a couple, but like Delmise, Honedge, like those are also like spirits possessing objects. Which, I mean, does again raise the question where those spirits come from. I admittedly always assumed that like Sinistea, Delmise, Honedge, I always assumed those were like kind of just like I guess you could call them demons or something, like just like not like dead people or dead Pokemon, but just like a vague spirit, like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like demons, you know? Just kind of like its own spirit entity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily because of something dead, but like just like created from the ether, I suppose. But it could also be the other way around. Like, it could be a dead human possessing the anchor and sword and Chica.
I honestly don't know. Okay, I think that's it for Pokemon that are like actual real people.
So then I'll bring it back again. How can any of these breed? Like, and I mean, there's also the matter of practicality just in general. Like none of these are like I guess Frostlass is rare to be naturally occurring. Phantom is how rare is Phantom?
Phantom's fairly common.
See, that's the thing. Like, how many children are
A
A
lot.
major issue with parents just letting their kids wander off into the haunted woods where the kids disappear and die, and then there's a phantom. Like people know this. It's in the records. Like professors can be like, oh, by the way, all these phantoms, they're dead kids. Like you'd think that parents would be a little more like, maybe I won't let my kids wander into murder phantom woods. Maybe that's where all the phantoms come from. And so like Yamask, okay, I get it. It just comes from corpses. Corpses are generated every day. So fine. Yamask makes sense. Phantom and Frostlass seem really weirdly specific to be just like commonly occur. Because it's not just like someone died or like this happened. It's like a kid got lost. It doesn't even have to be in a forest. Like, isn't it like they have to?
I think it has to be in the woods because they possess a tree stump.
Yeah, so a kid has to get lost in the forest, just any forest, I assume. But like a kid has to get lost in the forest and die for a phantom to happen. And a woman has to have regrets and die from freezing to death on a mountain to make a Frostlass happen.
Well, then why does a Dawnstone work?
Well, that's what I was wondering too, because like we were talking about how like a chandelier, like a lamp end, takes on so many souls that a chandelier happens. Why is a duskstone made of souls? Is that what I'm to assume? And like yeah, like a dawnstone, like I guess maybe is that why the evolution works? Like is like the woman died of regrets on just the mass death of regretful women on this mountain, and they all they didn't turn into Frostlasses, they turned into Dawnstones. Maybe it's like their soul is like in the Dawnstone.
Okay, well actually that does kind of make sense. If a Dawnstone, okay, well no, that would only make sense if a Dawnstone only worked on Snowrun, but it also works on Curlia.
Well, see, that's what I was gonna say. Like it makes sense for like if it was like the Reaper Cloth or something, I'd be like, okay, there we go. We got some very specific lore that we've extrapolated on this very specific item. But the stones aren't specific items. They're used for multiple Pokemon. And like even like the Chandelier thing, like sure, maybe I can make the case for Misdreavus because I believe she eats fear is what powers a Misdreavus. So I can make the case for that, I guess. But like Murkrow to Honchkrow, like I don't believe that Murkrow turns into a Mafia Don by eating souls. That doesn't make sense to me. So like, yeah, Ghost Pokemon, I love them. They're my favorite. I wouldn't trade anything for them in the world. I don't understand how they work on the whole.
No, I don't either. But like, okay, if you breed a whole bunch of Phantom, does that mean you are personally killing a bunch of children?
But that doesn't make sense. Why would they hatch from eggs? Like I guess it would have to be that like every time a Phantom lays an egg, it's a child that died, but the soul goes into the like it flies like it goes up from the woods into the egg. But that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
So I guess like you just have
Pokemon
to
shouldn't be able to.
That like a Phantom is like if you breed like Phantoms like they can have babies, but they also come from that very like I guess okay. I suppose if you really wanted to, and I think that they should reword the Pokédex if this is the case. Like just throwing my notes out there for you, Game Freak. I think it's possible that you could argue that like the original one came like the very first the first Frostlass that God ever saw was from a woman who was regretful and froze to death on a mountain, and the very first Phantom was a child that died in the woods, and then like that's never happened again in either of those cases, and now they're just a species. Maybe it happened twice so they can like
Yeah.
But well then again, Pokemon don't have to fuck members of their own species to have kids.
No, they just need to be in the same egg group.
That's a weird thing that we could talk about later too. I didn't research it, but the more I think about it, that's a very strange thing. Because you could only do that with like 3 species in the real world, like ligers.
There's actually several. Dogs, wolves, coyotes, and I think jackals can all breed.
Okay.
A mule is a horse and a donkey. So there's a lot of like hybrid animals out there, but a lot of them aren't like
Wait,
viable.
ligers are real, right? Like I didn't.
Ligers are real,
Okay.
yes.
For some reason, I thought that like I had looked them up and like ligers were a myth, and I was like, no, I knew they were true. But okay, ligers are real. But yeah, like every single Pokemon, but it's weird because you don't get a liger, you get like whatever the mom was. So that like just implies
Yes.
that like I feel like that just implies that like within an egg group, Pokemon come is generic, and it's the egg that matters.
Yeah, I guess.
Which does that mean that like the father doesn't contribute anything to the like DNA wise?
Well, egg moves and abilities and IVs get passed down, so those
From the
those
father
matter.
as well?
Yeah.
Well, this is just a whole barrel of confusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's weird. Because like it passes down traits like moves, but it doesn't pass down traits like type or species or like if like give me two Pokemon that are in the same egg group.
Skitty and Wailord.
Thanks, babe. It's like if Skitty and a Wailord somehow. I mean, I guess that just means Wailord has like a really tiny dick. Or, yeah, that's the only way it works. Or it has a tiny, like it has a tiny whichever. So like if they fuck, like you don't get like a Skitty that has fins. That'd be kind of
No.
cool. Okay, imagine if like a Wailord and a Skitty fucked, right? And
Uh-huh.
when the baby came out of the Skitty, because the Skitty's the mom, instead of like a hand on its tail, it had like a whale fin.
Well, that'd be
That'd be
neat.
sick as fuck, wouldn't you say? And it's like blue. It's like
Yeah.
a blue Skitty with like a whale fin instead of a hand on the tail. Oh, that'd be cool. I think we have something here, Pokemon Company. I think if we can run with this concept, but but that's not what happens when you breed Pokemon.
Nope.
Which leads me to believe, except for the move thing, that cum is generic, but it's not. It can't be because the moves. I guess that would mean okay. The cum has DNA, but the moves are the only traits that are in that strand of how does DNA work? Does every strand of DNA have everything in it? Yeah.
I gotta be honest here, I don't know.
Okay. I'm also not a geneticist, so I don't know if every single strand of well no, yes, every strand of DNA has to have everything in it because when you pull a hair and they can like identify you. Like they can identify you the same way from your hair as your skin, I think, probably.
Hmm.
So every strand of DNA must have every like thing in it. So maybe like the only thing that it like or maybe just like maybe species in the mother is like the inherently dominant trait or fuck it. I'm not figuring
Fuck
this
it,
out.
yeah.
I don't know enough about genetics nor enough about Pokemon nor enough about animal breeding to figure this out.
There are two Pokemon that I want to ask you why you think it's possible to breed them, like, period.
The same as ghost types because I'm already quite baffled on ghost type breeding, but
Other than they're not neither one is a ghost type. They are Kangaskhan and Cubone.
well, that does
A Kangaskhan is
pretty-
born with a baby in its pouch.
I mean I got that. You don't need to angrily intimidatingly tell me, and I know. Um,
I'm just saying for our audience, if they didn't pick that one up.
I mean, I was about to say the exact same thing because
Oh,
I'm the one you asked. You want to if you
Yes.
if you want to answer your own question, go right ahead.
I don't have an answer. I'm asking you.
But yeah, no, because then a Kangaskhan is born with a baby, and a Cubone is born with a skull of its mother on its. See, that's another one like the ghost types where it's weirdly specific. So you have to
Yeah.
wonder like why. I think some Pokédex entries they're just too specific to cover an entire like. You're going to tell me that every single Cubone adjusts in the exact same way to their mother being dead. Like, you don't think there's going to be like one super well adjusted Cubone that doesn't need to cry about it, that they're just like, and you don't think there's going to be any Cubones that are like well adjusted enough that they don't wear her bones?
For that matter, when you breed a Cubone, you know the mother is still alive because the mother is your Pokemon.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. Like, it's very. So then where does the skull even? I guess it's the. But I mean, they're born with the skull, so it's part of their skin, probably, for being honest. But like, because like clearly Kangaskhan's baby only comes out of the pouch. Is Kangaskhan's baby like confirmed to be like an actual, like, does it grow up like in canon?
When a Mega evolves.
This isn't about Mega Evolution. We'll get back to that. Just
Then,
in like if you've just got like a wild Kangaskhan horde, like will those babies like go like 5-10 years out? Will those babies grow up? Theoretically,
they don't really ever touch on that.
Because like a case could be made that they're like a weird like symbiotic twin thing instead of like they mimic a mother and child, but they're not actually. If you think about it, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe.
Cause like, okay, like Mega Evolution's weird. We're gonna come back to it. I don't think that alone is enough evidence, just because Mega Evolution is weird and problematic and very questionable. But yeah, I think I'm siding with it's like a weird kind of deceptive thing. Like we call it a mother and child because that's what we're used to because we know what kangaroos are. But like, and it mimics a mother and child, but maybe it's like actually like one, like almost like conjoined twins, but like different, if that makes any sense.
It does make sense. When you put it that way, I get it. Like, that does make sense, I think.
So I think that can explain Kangaskhan. There's no good explanation for Cubone except that Pokedex is full of bullshit and it's just like a part of its, like, you know, like the bony plates on a stegosaur or things like that. Like it's just like a part, like it's just exposed bone on its body.
So what you're saying is the Pokedex makes shit up because it's written by 10-year-olds.
Well, see, that's the thing that I think we need to remember a little bit is that, and like granted, it's still important to take some of these like at face value when discussing lore because it's all we've got. Like it's not like if we're if we're just sitting here like, oh, it's all completely wrong, then like what are we working off of? Basically nothing. But it is important to sort of like BB Gondola. These are animal textbooks written mostly by children. And even in real life, animal behaviorists can be wrong. Like,
that's true.
Like even earlier today, I sent you like, you know, that like alpha male, sigma male, or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Thing, like that meme that was going around. Like I'm pretty sure like alpha wolf theory like isn't accurate.
Oh, it's not at all.
Yeah.
It was a study did on captive wolves that was discredited literally a year later.
So see that exactly. That's a perfect example of like something that like we deeply believe about animals, but it was because an animal behaviorist was incorrect and generalized too much about a specific sample. So like yes, maybe some Pokemon trainer found a Cubone that was crying about its dead mother and assumed it was her skull because, you know, it's shaped like a Cubone.
Mm-hmm.
And then generalized that. So like, I think with some of these super specific ones, we can either make the case of like species genesis, like we did with the Phantom and the Frostlass. For the Frostlass, I think it's species genesis. For the Phantom, I think it can be a combination of like that's how the species started, and it also still happens, but not enough to populate the entire species.
I get you, yeah.
But then, like, for ones like, I think we could also chalk up some of them to just generalization or being incorrect about animal behaviorism, because, yeah, I think it's important to bear in mind that this is animal textbooks written by 10-year-olds. So maybe it's not always correct. Did you have any more fun things sort of similar to this you wanted to talk about?
I want to say I know there are more Pokemon out there where, like, the lore in the Pokedex entries kind of feel like it's referring to an individual, but it's a species, and it doesn't really make sense that it's not, but I can't think of any examples off the top of my head that we didn't already talk about.
But there's definitely examples. So, I mean, if you guys want that in the comments, like, tell us another Pokemon that you think is an example of generalizing the story or behavior of an individual member of the species to the entire species, because I'm actually really interested in this now that I'm thinking about it. Like not enough to read through all 900 Pokedex entries and try to figure some stuff out, but it is interesting. So I'd love to hear if people want to submit more examples. I'd love to hear them. But since, again, a lot of my stuff is, I have something really huge, and I have some other, like, smaller huge things, but I also have just, like, little fun facts that I'm peppering around, like that Pokemon League one. So it's time for another fun fact. Pokemon trivia.
Fun fact.
Conkeldurr, one of my least favorite Pokemon.
Conkeldurr.
You know, it's part of that ugly family with the exposed veins. They're just horrendous to look at.
Sounds familiar.
I'm telling the audience. But Conkeldurr, I do have to give them some props, despite them being horrifying to look at. They taught humans how to make concrete.
Good on them.
Canonically speaking, I was looking through the timeline of the Pokemon world, and apparently, Conkeldurr are the reasons why humans have concrete, because they taught humans how to make concrete with apparently centrifugal force. I don't know enough about concrete to know how that works. I do know what centrifugal force is, and I don't see how it relates to concrete. But
I think it's because you have to spin around concrete in those big drums.
Oh yeah, like the Bob the Builder. It's the orange one with the little, like, her mouth looks like an orange slice, and she was my favorite.
Yeah. You know how, like, you see concrete trucks driving around and they're always spinning that on the back.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that how concrete's made? I thought that's just how they, like, kept it fresh. I don't know what I thought they were doing, to be completely honest. It makes sense that that's how it's made. I should have assumed that. But, yeah. So that's how concrete's made.
Yeah, I think that's how concrete's made. That's a little,
That's how concrete happened in the Pokemon world.
you.
So that's a fun Pokemon fact, and I have 3 more to pepper in. So look out for them.
Right now, or save them for later?
No.
Oh, okay.
We'll get back to them. I'm not gonna blow my whole Pokemon trivia peppering in the fun facts load in this early in the episode.
All right.
So something that we mentioned when we were talking about Kangaskhan. After that little fun fact about concrete, something completely unrelated, but back to when we were talking about Kangaskhan, we talked about Mega Evolutions, and we also mentioned Mega Evolutions earlier when we were talking about how Professor Sycamore should lose his license, because I deeply feel that because of a very interesting way that the Pokemon Company handled not wanting to have Mega Evolutions be a game mechanic anymore. So
so I think one of the biggest charms of the Alola games to me was how just absolutely buck wild and terrifying a lot of the Pokedex entries were.
That's true.
And that extends.
Rotom Pokedex was kind of kind of sassy with it. I remember. Well, okay, one of the funniest ones before we get into Mega Evolutions, because that reminded me, is Aquanid. I think it is. It's either Aquanid or Dewpider.
Araquanid?
It's one of the two. You know the spider with the water
Yeah.
head. Um,
Bubble spider.
in either Sun or Moon, I don't remember which one's which, but in one of the games it says that the Pokemon brings Pokemon into their heads with like a bubble to keep them safe. And in the other game, it says it brings Pokemon into their heads to drown them and eat them. so, so it's very interesting to wonder with which one do you think it is? Do you think it's both? Do you think it's
I think it can be both. I think the ones it wants to kill and eat, it drowns. The ones it wants to keep safe, it keeps safe.
Do you think it's both, or do you think that one 10-year-old horribly misinterpreted what was happening in one direction or the other?
I actually really like that idea.
I think, yeah, no, I like that too. I like the idea of a 10-year-old. Like, he's watching this happen, and he's like, Mommy, is that, I'm alone because I'm 10 in the Pokemon world. But I don't know why these kids are British too. They're in Galar. Whoa, is it being eaten? Is it being rescued? And just took a guess. Didn't know.
But yes, like, so the Mega Evolutions also got Pokedex entries in this generation, and they didn't in the 6th generation. So we get to learn some fun facts about Mega Pokemon that we didn't know, and some of them are horrifying.
I think it's more than just some of them. I think it's like the vast majority.
Yeah, most of them are horrifying. So, first of all, Mega Glalie.
Oh, I remember this one.
The excess energy from Mega Evolution spilled over from its mouth, breaking its jaw. It spews endless blizzards.
Yep. And then like another entry later on says that it can't eat properly. Like it
Yes, it envelops its prey in its mouth, freezing them instantly, but its jaw is dislocated, so it's unable to eat them.
So yeah, like when you Mega Evolve a Glalie, like you send it to a world of permanent broken jaw pain.
Mega Absol dislikes fighting, and it really hates Mega Evolving because it doesn't want to fight.
That's
And
just sad. That's not.
it also converts the energy of Mega Evolution into an intimidating aura, which causes faint-hearted people to expire from shock at the sight of it.
Oh, so it's like the girl from The Ring. You know, like I know you haven't seen The Ring, but the way she kills it's like she just looks so scary that you're done so.
Yeah, Mega Absol kills
Mega
people.
Absol, yeah, it's the same as the girl from The Ring. You just die instantly.
Mega Aerodactyl becomes more vicious than ever because the excess power is causing it pain. And it also attacks anything that moves.
It's just like it's
Mega
hurt
Evolution.
and it's angry. It's like the Spinosaurus from JP3, but worse.
And it also attacks anything that moves because Mega Evolution is a burden on its body and it's incredibly irritated.
Yeah, no, that's not very positive, no, is it?
Mega Alakazam lost all of the strength in its muscles.
That's fucked up.
Mega Bayonet has become so powerful that it curses its own trainer without even trying to.
So it just like has like unlimited curse juice that it just like is spewing constantly and can't control.
Yeah.
That just sounds dangerous to be around.
Mega Garchomp's arms and wings have been melted into giant scythes.
That's horrifying. And doesn't it also say like it gets so angry that it like massacres everything in the area or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, can you read that one? Because that's the one that stands out the most in my brain.
Its vaunted wings become scythes, sending it mad with rage. It swings its scythes wildly and slices the ground to pieces.
But there's one about it like massacring people, isn't there? I swear there was.
No, there's one about going mad with rage and rampaging, and there's one about carving its opponents up with the sights on its arms.
Okay, but like if you put A, B, and C all together,
yes, it'll
you get Mega Garchomp goes on a rampage and kills people.
Yes.
This is what you get if you get Garchomp if you send a Mega Garchomp loose on a city, you get a bunch of chopped up people.
Mega Gengar tries to take the lives of anyone and everyone, including the trainer.
So again, you just don't want to be around this one. Mega Primeape, I think that's another fucked up one, isn't it? Like I think
there is no Mega Primeape.
Doesn't its heart like explode? Like doesn't it get so angry that its heart explodes and it dies?
Mega Primeape?
Yeah.
There is no Mega Primeape.
What do you mean there's no Mega Primeape?
There is no Mega Primeape.
Are you certain?
I am absolutely certain there is no Mega Primeape.
Like on God?
Like on God.
So I wanted to talk.
What does Mega Primeape look like? Tell me.
It's like angrier. It's got like big chains and like. It wasn't a very inspired design. It looked a lot like Primeape, but it was like maybe like a little spikier, bigger chains, much angrier face, very frightening looking. Are you sure?
I am sure there's no Mega Primeape.
So I wanted to talk about the Mandela effect during this segment because when I went looking, because I was having a conversation with someone a couple weeks back about fucked up Mega Evolutions, and I had been talking about these Pokédex entries, and I went to go get them, and I couldn't find them anywhere. I couldn't find a record of them on Cerebi. I couldn't find a record of them on Bulbapedia. I couldn't find them anywhere. And then when we were researching this episode, I was like, oh, good luck, babe. They're nowhere to be found. There's no record. It's a cover-up, etc., etc. She found them instantly. So
I did.
I deeply believe that I slipped into a dimension where Mega Evolutions never had fucked up Pokédex entries. But
and also where Mega Primeape exists.
That's what I'm going to say. I think I slipped into another dimension where there's a Mega Primeape that like its heart explodes. Is there a Mega where its heart explodes? Am I like somehow getting my wires crossed? Because I swear there's a Mega Primeape and it gets so mad that its heart explodes.
Could it be Sableye?
What is Sableye?
Bathed in the energy of Mega Evolution, the gemstone on its chest expands, rips through its skin, and falls out.
No. But that is fucked up as well.
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to think of what other Pokemon it could even be. Oh, here's a picture of every Mega Pokemon.
But no Mega Primeape.
No, there's no Primeape, which doesn't make any sense if you ask me. I kind of forgot there was a Mega Camerupt and Sharpedo, though.
Yeah, there was.
Maybe Mega Heracross or Mega Pincers heart explodes?
No.
No. So clearly I was just wrong. Is there anything fucked up about Mega Snover, though? Because I'm actually really curious about that. Mega Abomasnow, rather.
There's really not. Mega Abomasnow actually doesn't even have a Pokédex entry.
Oh, it just lives an unproblematic life?
Well, not every... Because the Alola games, despite their really good Pokédex entries, were the first games to get rid of the National Pokédex, and you could still obtain every Pokemon, but any Pokemon not in the Regional Pokédex didn't get an entry.
So okay. That makes sense. But yeah, so I think what this was all building to, Mega Evolution, like, clearly, like, the way I take this is, like, clearly the Pokemon Company wanted to get rid of Mega Evolution. Like, I mean, you can feel free to argue if you think this is untrue, but, like, my take is that, like,
I think it's true.
I really think that, like, the Pokemon Company just wanted to get rid of Mega Evolution. They didn't want it anymore. They realized that fans probably wouldn't be super willing to accept them just cutting it. So they, like, did just cut it, but they also
But
But
first,
first, they rewrote every. Well, they didn't even rewrite because there was no Pokedex entry, but they took it from the thing that it was like presented as in Kalos, where like in Kalos and in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire too, I think. I got actually really
Yeah.
far in that game in our replay, and I don't remember them even really talking about Mega Evolution. But in both of those games, it was, it was presented as like Mega Evolution is the ultimate bond between the trainer and the Pokemon. You love each other so much that Mega Evolution can happen. It's temporary because it's so powerful, but it's a sign of love and bond and trust, and it's a good thing. It's cute and lovely. And then they like write a bunch of lore for it. It's like actually this Pokemon wants to kill itself whenever you do this.
yeah, then you get to Sun and Moon, and it's like, Mega Salamence is so brutal that it's been dubbed the Blood-Soaked Crescent.
Yeah. So like I think they just wanted to get rid of it. And they were like, how can we get rid of it and not have people complain? So they rewrote it so Mega Evolution's just horribly abusive and you're completely morally in the wrong. And you're probably gonna kill a lot of people if you Mega Evolve Pokemon. Like I
Try to make us not want to Mega Evolve our Pokemon anymore.
I don't try to focus on like the grimdark aspects of Pokemon, but like Mega Evolution ended up being very weirdly grimdark in that like if you Mega your Pokemon,
sure did.
You're probably gonna kill them and or many people.
Your Pokemon is suffering when you Mega Evolve.
Exactly. Which again, this is why I said I think Professor Sycamore should be stripped of all his titles, of everything.
Yes.
He should not be practicing anymore. No one should listen to him. His whoever peer reviewed his papers, they're done too. Career over. All of them. Because he was just either he knew about this and he covered it up, or he was just so fucking stupid that he didn't realize the massive problems. Which I don't believe that's even possible. I don't believe if you're studying Mega Evolution, you can miss the fact that like a couple of these Pokemon will go on murderous rampages. That's like
I mean,
that would
Professor
come up.
Sycamore is kind of a stupid man. I'll give you that.
Like, I don't think you can be that stupid, though. Like, I think it would come up. And I think you would maybe notice that, like, Galeli's jaw is broken and it can't eat anymore. And, like...
I think you probably noticed that Scizor is melting.
Yeah. Like, I think you'd probably just, like, notice these things. Like, I think if you were even doing a study, you'd, like, realize, oh, wait, Garchomp killed our entire lab staff. They're all lying in bloody pieces on the floor. That's not great. Like, maybe you'd be like, oh, Mega Gengar, it slaughtered an entire city block. Like, yeah, I think Sycamore's covering it up, personally.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way you could miss this. So this is a Professor Sycamore hate video. I don't like Professor Sycamore. Fuck Professor Sycamore.
All my homies hate Professor Sycamore.
Exactly. I want the thumbnail for this episode, which I don't need to tell you guys because you're already looking at it. But I want the thumbnail for this episode. You have Professor Sycamore with like a big red X over him. Worst Pokemon professor. I hate him. But yeah, Mega Evolution is fucked up.
Super fucked up.
I'm not a fan. So
why don't you give us another one of those fun facts?
a fun fact, but we were just talking about Pokemon murdering people. Is this really the time?
Yeah, fun fact time. Lay it on me, baby.
You're not gonna like this fun fact.
Oh, good.
Well, maybe you will like it because it's like it has a hopeful spin. Farfetch'd were overhunted
Uh-huh.
and nearly went extinct 1,500 years, so 1,500 years, before the events of the games.
Aww.
Yeah. I said you weren't going to like this one. It feels fittingly somber for the Pokemon Mega Evolution conversation. Uh,
I mean, that happened to Lapras too.
you're right. I forgot, but Lapras bounced back. I have Farfetch'd
Yeah,
canonically bounced back. I think they have, because they're Farfetch'd is a protected
I,
species now, right? Like you can't hunt Farfetch'd.
mm, says who?
I don't know. I think I just made it up.
Uh,
I think I just did that
yeah,
in my brain.
Farfetch'd have always been kind of scarce. But no, Lapras, like in early Pokedex entries, says that it's like endangered, was hunted to extinction. But in more recent Pokedex entries, it says that like,
The population's
um,
bounced back.
yeah, due to breeding efforts,
See,
they're doing a lot better now. There's an overabundance of Lapras.
I can only hope that like they've done the same for Farfetch'd. Like,
Hope so.
well, because I mean, that happens in real life, right? Like, if there's like a common prey animal that like people like prey for humans, I guess. Like, and we do a little too much. Like, either there's regulations or we like breed them.
Yeah, I mean, unless people don't care.
Listen, you were the one
Can't
arguing.
say much for the dodo.
You were the one arguing for the strong centralized government in Pokemon. If there's a strong centralized
Yeah.
government, I deeply believe that there is like hunting regulations.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So I'm choosing to believe that Farfetch'd is a my hope for the future Farfetch'd Pokedex entry is that Farfetch'd is a protected species and has made a lovely recovery. But hey,
But like, we're in agreement that people eat Farfetch'd, right?
I mean, people definitely eat several Pokemon. I was gonna look up like what Pokemon people eat, but then I didn't. Um, but like,
Um, I'll say for certain Magikarp
yeah.
and Kingler. Um,
I mean, I did.
Alchemy, I believe.
Well, alchemy you can eat. Like alchemy like
Yeah.
encourages you to eat her. It's very strange.
You can eat the fruit off of Tropius.
Well, it's not really eating a Tropius. It's just eating a byproduct
Yeah.
of a Tropius.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say like most water types would probably be in.
Probably would, yeah, but like we see like hold on.
Yeah, we see Magikarp being eaten in game, maybe?
In the curry in Pokemon Sword and Shield, there's like one I think that looks like a Magikarp. Looks like it's like made out of Magikarp.
There's like meat that you can put in the curry, right?
Yeah.
What does the meat is the meat called anything?
No, it's like sausage and
It's
stuff.
just called meat, just
Um,
vague meat.
Yeah. There is one that's like very definitely a Kingler though.
I'm looking it up right now. Um,
Oh, and I think there's one that is a Pincurchin as well.
oh yeah, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, there's one that's like the tail of what's it called? Slowpoke tails.
Slowpoke tails, yeah, slowpoke tails are edible.
Well, here's one that's like it's clearly like a Farfetch'd leak. Do you think they use Farfetch'd meat in that curry?
Oh, they for sure could have, but also the leek is just edible by itself.
Well, of
so-
course. I'm not arguing that leeks are not edible on their own. I'm just saying they pair quite well with Farfetch'd, and that's why they carry them.
Yeah,
It's a bit of lack of self-preservation, if you ask me.
a duck comes bearing green onions.
What egg do you suppose that is?
Togepi.
Why do you think that's a Togepi?
Because Togepi's the egg Pokemon.
If anything, I believe it's like the egg that Chansey carries in its pouch.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think it's wherever the fuck is that Happiny egg? Like what is the egg that Chansey carries around?
It's actually a really good question.
Is it just an egg? Just a vague generic brand egg that no one knows what it is?
Carries a single white egg. The egg is said to be very nutritious, and it lays several new ones every day.
So it's
It's a Chansey egg.
like an unfertilized Chansey egg, I suppose?
Yeah, it's got to be unfertilized, because a Chansey will lay an egg whether it's breeding or not.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with
That's why they carry
I'm
that
gonna go
on.
with unfertilized Chansey egg is what is
Yeah.
the egg curry. Um,
Although, if you let your Chansey hold a luck incense, that'll be an unfertilized Happiny egg.
an unfertilized what?
Happiny egg.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So what do you think the pre-cooked burger is? Do you think that's probably milk tank?
Probably Miltank and Tauros. Yeah.
Toros. Well, I guess people would eat toros because people did eat buffalo back when they were like not hunted to
Taurus is a
extinction.
Taurus is a bull. Buffalo's a buffalo.
Wait, do we eat bulls?
Taurus
I
and
actually
Miltank
don't know.
are
Do people eat bulls?
bulls are cows.
I don't know anything about cows versus bulls. If you asked me,
Okay,
bulls
a
only
bull
exist
is a male
in bull
cattle and a
riding.
cow is a female cattle.
So like so cattle ranches you have both, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I thought for some reason I thought cattle ranches were just cows. I've never put together that they probably have bulls too.
They're the same species. It's like rooster and hen. They're the same species.
I suppose that makes sense.
But like Tauros and Miltank are like male and female counterparts. I always thought of them as the same Pokemon.
I mean, I think they're meant to be probably.
Yeah, they're counterparts.
They're not the same region though, which is interesting.
Well, Kanto and Johto are the
I
same
mean, they're
region,
always well.
more or
Okay,
less.
I'm not saying they're not always seen together. I just mean they're not created at the same time. Like they are usually seen together.
Yeah.
Like that farm where you can get milk tanks, you can also get Tauroses in X and Y, and things like that.
Yeah, and like honestly, I think that's just because the first generation didn't have gender.
That's true. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, then yeah, the pre-cooked burger is probably milk tank and Tauros.
Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
something did just occur to me.
Which
So,
is?
like, okay, so people eat Pokemon. We've established that.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Yes. So is eating grass type Pokemon considered vegan?
Um. Uh. Like I don't know how much of this pause you're gonna edit out, but for our audience, I've paused for a very long time between each verbalization because uh that's an interesting question, isn't it?
Yes, it is. No,
Um.
obviously there are grass type Pokemon that we know for sure are edible, like Bounsweet.
Well,
Bounsweet get
yeah,
eaten. Is that like
and like
okay? Is that vegan?
and like Cherubi's like a cherry, so
Yeah.
that's something too. Um. God. Uh. Oh. Well, like, it's complicated because like technically it's meat in like a sense, you know, like it's not meat in a traditional sense, but it is still like okay, if you could eat a Macargo without like absolutely destroying your mouth forever and probably dying, would like the lava that like that'd be meat, right?
Well,
Theoretically, in a
I
sense.
assume I assume they got some meat in there. I don't think they're made of pure lava.
Yes, they are. Have you seen them?
Well, okay, like they are made of lava, but they gotta have some like solid core, right?
Okay, what about like say you could eat a eat a like a muck or a grimer without dying,
Mm-hmm.
poisoning like immediately, like that. It'd be like a pudding, right? Kinda,
I imagine they'd have the consistency of pudding.
but
Yeah.
it'd be like a meat pudding because it's an animal, right?
Well, I guess you could say if all Pokemon are animals, but then grass Pokemon are like plants and animals at the same time.
So I mean, well, I guess how do you define meat? Like, do you define meat as like is it like are we gonna split
The
hairs a lot
flesh
as
of
like Like, are we gonna split hairs a lot over like the traditional meat, like texture and composition, or are we
No,
willing to
meat
include
is
like
the
just
flesh of an
any?
animal.
Okay, well, if meat's the flesh of an animal, then grass types, like that's their flesh. Like if you eat a cherubi, is that not an animal?
Okay, so you're saying it's not vegan to eat grass-type Pokemon.
I
Okay.
would I would say that insofar as since you are eating a living thing, no, that makes it not vegan, decidedly.
Okay. One further consideration, though,
I'm listening.
is eating the byproduct of a grass-type Pokemon, say Tropius's bananas, is that vegan? Because, like, it's not vegan to,
Um,
like, drink milk,
well,
but,
yeah.
like, if
No,
it's... So,
I mean,
Tropius berries aren't vegan.
I don't think you need to explain it anymore. I honestly think, yeah, no, it's not. Because, see, here's the thing, and it's the same as the last one, and I was just about to say this before we transitioned to the next half of the question. I think even if, like, strictly speaking, a vegan is still consuming, like, the leaves or fruit that they would be consuming, it's not, like, in the spirit of veganism, you know?
Okay.
Like, it's not, like,
Okay.
strictly meat or milk or eggs, but since they'd be eating a living being, or they'd be eating, like, something that comes from a living being, I think for, like, the beliefs in like if someone was a vegan purely for like health reasons, I think maybe they would consider it fine. But I think if someone's like really committed to like the vegan beliefs and ideologies, it would very much fly in the face of those, regardless of it being plant based.
All right. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay. I think you're right on that. I think you're on the right track there.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say, so like explicitly speaking, we've probably seen like Kingler, um, Milk Tank and Tauros, Chansey Eggs, um, but like implicitly, I'm sure like yeah, like Farfetch, probably some more bird Pokemon. Um, I'd say probably most water types, if I'm being completely honest. Um, I'm sure there's like Octillery pho and like Octillery sushi, like things like that.
Yeah.
Um, it's weird. It's weird to think about eating Pokemon because there's other things that you can do with Pokemon that we're going to talk about later in the episode that makes it even weirder that you can just eat Pokemon. Um, the relationship between Pokemon and humans is ripe for discussion. Do you want to just go into that next? Do you think that's where?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, but yeah. So I was going to talk about the relationship between people and Pokemon at some point. So I think now's as good a time as any because
So you mean like how people capture Pokemon and train them for battle?
no, I mean it's time to talk about having sex with Pokemon.
What?
Yeah,
Do people really do that?
I think people do, to be completely honest. And I think we need to have a discussion
Uh,
of like, I think I want to have a detailed discussion on one, if you think it's okay to have sex with any Pokemon, and two, what are some examples that come to mind as like acceptable Pokemon to have sex with? Um, well, you know, fine, yeah, let's start with that actually. Let's gauge your feelings before we have this discussion. Do you believe it's okay to have sex with any Pokemon? Not like any Pokemon, like do you believe literally any Pokemon is on the table? I mean, like, do you paint them all with the same brush? Is like no Pokemon okay? Or are some okay, do you think?
I think I think it's okay in most
In
cases.
most cases. So you're even willing to argue that most Pokemon are okay to have sex with.
Okay, maybe not like okay. There are some that it's really like weird and creepy,
Like a Bidoof.
but like yeah, sure.
It's like I mean like a Bidoof or a Pidgey strikes me as kind of weird to have sex with.
Oh, super weird. But also Pokemon are depicted as oh, I guess I'm mostly using evidence from the anime here, so it probably doesn't really count for this episode, but like Pokemon are typically depicted as being able to consent.
Interesting. So I guess that like leads into the next question. Like you think that most Pokemon, if you Okay, it sounds like you think all Pokemon are okay to have sex with, just some of them are kind of weird.
I think some of them are kind of weird, and I think baby Pokemon should probably be off the table.
Well, yeah, I'd say like baby humans, baby Pokemon, like both of them you should not have sex with, obviously.
Yes.
But like okay, okay. The example I always use as like one that like the more that I thought like because I used to be very adamantly like no you can't fuck Pokemon, none, never. And like I still feel weird about it. Like it still feels like a weird thing to be able to do. But like Alakazam was the example that I was the most like wait shit. I don't really have a good justification for this. Cause like an Alakazam is probably smarter than you.
No, and Alakazam has an IQ of like over 9,000.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I think it'd be more of a question of like, can you consent to an Alakazam? like, so that was Alakazam was the example that like really made my mind be like, oh, actually, maybe at least some Pokemon are okay. But you would argue that like all of them are okay except for baby Pokemon, but like some of them are just weird.
Yeah.
That makes
I think most of them are just weird, actually.
you're
I feel like there are far
You're like,
more Pokemon it's
wait.
weird to be into. I think there are far more Pokemon that it'd be weird to bone down with than it would be to be like, okay, understandable.
So like where do you stand on like the super common horny ones like Gardevoir,
I think Gardevoir is fine.
Lopunny?
Gardevoir, especially being a psychic type, is clearly very smart.
Yeah.
Lopunny is just a furry.
I was gonna say
Lopunny is just an Lopunny's an anthro rabbit. If you're okay with furries, you're okay with fucking a Lopunny.
What about Serena?
Serena is another one that I think is fine.
What other ones are super common? I know those three are like the ones people are super horny for. So
Machamp I think is alright.
Which one?
Machamp.
Oh, we've got a lot to say about Machamp actually. Because,
we sure do.
So the reason I even bring this up, I'm not just having a meaningless debate in the middle of this lore video about if fucking Pokemon is okay. Like if you look at Gardevoir porn, are you fine?
You won't go to hell, I don't think.
I'm bringing this up because in the lore of the universe, it's kind of supported, sort of. It's complicated. It's complicated. But so Machamps are a kink, like canonically.
It's true.
but it's very true. Like you know what it is canonically?
Yeah.
Like you know how like we have maid cafes because maids are like a fetish?
Yeah.
Machamp cafes like exist canonically. Like
I want to go to a Machamp cafe.
Cafes where you get served by a Machamp. And like with the whole like whatever the Machamp equivalent of like welcome home, Yaster is like,
Machamp.
I guess that's how you say welcome home, Yaster in Machamp. Or Machamp. I don't know why I'm saying Machamp. That's not a Pokemon. But yeah, so Machamp maid cafes exist. And then there's also that like whole series of promo arts of like women just absolutely like hard eyes all over Machamps. The entire family too, like Machoke. I think Machoke's weird. Yeah. I don't think you should be into a Machop.
No, Machop looks like a child.
I was gonna say Machop has like a 10-year-old's body. Like,
yeah. I mean, even in the games, like there is in the Alola games. I'm not sure if it's just you some or if it's all of them, but like there are these two ladies who are like fawning over this Machamp, and they're disappointed when they realize it's a dude in a Machamp costume and not a real one.
Yeah, I remember that. They're like really harassing this dude, and they find out he's just in a costume, and they're like, whatever. Not interested. It's like
Yeah.
Machamp Kink is like it's in the games, it's in the promo stuff. Because I guess I don't know what episode the promo stuff would fall into, but I'm making it fall into this one. But
Yeah. I agree.
and
I
then
should
like
just-
yeah, so like it's like being into Machamps, like and having sex with Machamps, or like wanting, or like at the very least, people want to have sex with Machamp, and it's recognized on a societal level enough to have cafes for it.
it's considered normal.
It
Yeah.
is no, yeah, it's considered like it's not considered a taboo kink. It's the same as maids. Like it's not considered like a weird or taboo kink. It's a kink that people are
It's a very common
very
one.
known
Yeah.
and open about, and exactly it's common enough to have entire establishments that do good business, presumably, like like I keep bringing back maids, but it's because the cafes are clearly a maid cafe parallel. Like maid is such like a widespread kink that you can have cafes for it, and they do well. It's the same with Machamps and Universe.
Exactly.
Um, so I'm gonna ask you a question, just branching off of this, just very briefly before we go into like some more detail. Um, do you think Machamp has a cock?
What else is under that Speedo?
See, that's why I wanted to ask you, because we have conflicting information about that Speedo.
Oh?
So someone, I think it was a dev interview or something, said Machamp's Speedo. I don't know why I keep saying Machamp, but Machamp's Speedo is part of its skin. Like it's not like clothes. It's just colored skin. But that promo art, one of the women is like grabbing the waistband of the Speedo, which definitely directly conflicts that statement. Now, I don't know about you, but I know which one I believe.
Which one is that?
That Machamp has a giant cock in that Speedo.
That begs the question, though, of where does a Machamp get the Speedo?
Where did early humans get their clothes?
Are you saying Machamp weave the Speedo?
Sure, why not? I think they like. I mean, realistically, like, we've only seen modern Machamps, and I think maybe there's like a supplier or something. I don't know.
I mean, I kind of want to say it's actually part of the skin.
But then how do you have sex with them?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but like, I have evidence from the games that says it's part of the skin.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm gonna send you a picture.
Uh-huh.
This is the official art for Gigantamax Machamp. Take a close look at those ankles.
Oh yeah, it's like blending into the skin.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So like, so it's interesting because like I said, that one art, the girl's like going for the waistband, and like, huh? That's really interesting. I'm curious about Machamps. I think they're weird, and I'm curious about them. I'm really curious about Machamp kink. There's no solid answers, but I'm really just beyond curious about Machamp kink and like how it works in universe.
Yeah, me too.
And like I'm also like there's no way that Machamp kink is like an isolated thing. Like there's no way that like there's not other Pokemon that have similarly widespread. So I'm curious what the other like I obviously mentioned the three that are like widespread in the real world, but like there's no proof that they would also be widespread in the Pokemon world.
I can't recall any evidence that of like humans in the Pokemon world being interested in Gardevoir.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any evidence of any being interested in anything except for Machamp. Which makes me really, really curious. what other ones there are. And there's no answer. I just want to know. So next Pokemon game, slip in a few more Pokemon kinks just for me, just so I can know what other Pokemon the people of the Pokemon world really want to bone down with. But I assume it's largely like humans. Okay, I'm putting money on it right now. Jinx kink is a thing. I think Jinx is a popular one in universe.
I'd believe it.
I'm honestly surprised Jinx isn't more popular out of universe. So I definitely think Jinx is probably popular in universe. I want to say Licky Licky and Licky Tongue.
Do you think so?
They've got that giant tongue.
All right. I mean, do you think Hypno?
Yes, I think Hypno. I don't think Hypno's widespread, but I think like Hypno like has like a certain appeal to like a certain set of people, you know? Like I think if people are into hypnosis, they're probably into Hypnos. But that aside, there's more basis for human Pokemon relations in that manner. But again, you see how this throws a weird wrench into like people raising them as pets and like people eating them. Like it's very strange to like.
It's super
strange. I mean, already like in the real world, we don't really eat animals that we have as pets for them. Like I guess farm animals are kind of a outlier, but
that's kind of a gray area.
For the most part, people don't keep pets of animals that they eat. Yeah. Generally, like farms again are a gray area, but like generally house pets are not eaten by people who keep them as house pets, like, you know, like it's not really an overlap. So it's weird to think like even like thinking about eating them and having them as like magical pets, and then you throw having sex with them into the mix, and then you throw what we're about to talk about, which is marriage.
Marriage?
Yes. So I dug deep into the Canalave Library, which is a big.
There personally?
It's a big archive in the Sinnoh region, Canalave City. A big thing is myths and legends, and in the Sinnoh region, one of the books in the Canalave Library talks about the past. And
the past.
So there's two myths that like really blur the line between people and Pokemon. Because the same way that like a human's an animal, right? And then like we talked about Pokemon's varying levels of sentience. And like the anime, you're right. It's not really relevant to this episode, but the anime does present humans and Pokemon largely on the same level of sentience. Like they can at least like communicate. And like again, some Pokemon like an Alakazam is probably on a higher level of sentience than a human. Like things like that. So like two other things that blur that line. There's three that are called Sinnoh folklores. The first one is just a reference to the idea of like using every part of an animal and like not wasting any of it. Like if you kill a Pokemon to eat it, like use every part of it, etc. Yeah. Like sort of those beliefs. But then the other two, one of them is sort of like are you familiar with Selkies at all? Yeah. So for those in the audience who aren't familiar with Selkies, I don't even know why I bothered asking because I'm gonna explain it anyway. But Selkies are like these mythical, I believe they're Scottish, I think, or maybe Irish.
I think so.
They're either Scottish or Irish, and they're these women who are seals, and they can like take off a seal hide and turn into a woman. And if they get separated from their seal hide, they can't like turn back. But like normally they can turn back and forth by putting on and off the hide of a seal, which is like usually in the form of like a cape. So there's like a Pokemon Selkie story in the Sinnoh library where it's talking about.
Is it like a seal?
It's not a seal. It's just it doesn't.
Is it a seal?
It doesn't specify what Pokemon it is. It just talks about like there was once a Pokemon that could take off its hide to look like a human so it wouldn't be like attacked or harassed. But if it wanted to blend in with the wild, it could put its hide back on to be a Pokemon again.
Huh.
So it's really weird because again, it kind of blurs that line between humans and Pokemon. And then what blurs it even more is there's another myth that it's like once upon a time, humans and Pokemon were completely equal. They ate at the same tables. Which Pokemon eat out of dog dishes, which I think is weird. I think they should eat at the table. I remember when I was playing the gallery games, I like saw like the little dog bed and the little like dog food bowl, and I was like, they make Pokemon use those. Pokemon sit at the table with me. But according to this myth, Pokemon used to shared the same table, and the American version dances around it. The Japanese version explicitly says that humans and Pokemon would get married during this time period and like have an intimate relationship.
I see.
So like it can be said that like even if, and I mean again, it can be said that that it still happens in the modern day because of Machamp kink. But at the very least in the past, humans explicitly got married to Pokemon. So I don't know where I'm going with this personally.
So do you think that's okay?
Do I think it's okay? I mean, I think it's something that happens in the universe, and I don't like it was clearly seen as okay. And because Machamp kink is not shamed, or at least I assume it's not shamed if they have entire establishments for it. Like the Machamp Maid Cafe is just a game changer. Like that's like the real linchpin of this debate, I think.
No, yeah, Machamp Maid Cafe kind of means... Yeah, no, it's totally okay to bone Pokemon, and it's...
Exactly. Like it...
Normal.
It means at the very least, it's fine to be sexually attracted to them.
Yeah.
So... Yeah. I think regardless of what I think, the games are clearly saying that it's perfectly okay. Either that or some kind of... See, I was thinking, like... It almost seems like some kind of weird, like, divergent evolution thing happened from those Sinnoh legends.
You mean that humans are Pokemon and they all come from the same place?
Yeah, like humans and Pokemon had the exact same ancestor.
Mew is our ancestor as well.
And then evolved divergently into humans and Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which, it's possible. Which, I mean, in that case, you could argue, like, okay, they were so similarly evolved that it was fine back then, but it's not anymore. But the Machamp thing kind of throws that into rather disarray. So I'm just going to uncomplicate it and say, yeah, it's probably fine. But yeah, in universe, Pokemon and humans. But yeah, so that's going to be what we pick up with. For our Pokemon mainline games, Breaking the Lore, Part 2, which will...
Our first 2-part episode ever!
Yes, it is! But as I was going to say, which will actually... it will be out next week, if you follow us on Patreon at the... Do you know, Sarah, level?
The Little Hamster's Big Adventures tier, $7 a month or more.
You'll be able to get this episode a week early, and for everyone else, it'll be out at the normal day and time on Podbean and YouTube. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode.
That's gonna do it for us. Check out our Twitters, both the Break the Lore Twitter and our personal Twitters, which you can find in the description below.
Out our Patreon, which we mentioned. If you want the next episode earlier, you gotta subscribe. But also, subscribe to YouTube and tell people about us, because building an audience, it helps when there's word of mouth. So if you guys like our episode, if you know people who like Pokemon, if you think you know people who would enjoy any of our previous episodes, tell them about us.
This has been Breaking the Lore.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us on this Pokemon adventure. See you next week, and by that I mean the week after that. Bye!